thing that I think that Mr. Bueller says is that I'm not a math teacher. I'm someone who teaches and helps develop kids. But nothing happens positively in a classroom unless the attitude is, we're going to help kids grow, we're going to help kids develop, we're going to see what they can become and how good they can get at things. And it comes from that kind of love and passion for seeing these kids grow and develop. And the issue is, where will the leadership come from to help make sure that there is a change in culture or orientation that then leads to the kinds of changes in the classroom that can help our kids develop and be passionate about learning and love math and really become the best that they can be.
I'm Dorothy Wong, and I have 4 kids, and I have 2 in college, and a sophomore son, and then I have a 5th grader. So I've been around it for a while, and I am concerned about the math. Originally I thought it's just my kids aren't good at math, and I accepted that, but I think there is something deeper, and you guys have mentioned it, but I guess at this point I'm just saying, how can we redeem what's happened? What can we do as parents to support the teachers? I mean, if it means that I have to learn my calculus and my math analysis and learn how to grade those papers, I'll do it. But I think we need to kind of redeem this year, because I feel bad. Our kids are supposed to be pre-med, biomedical engineering, whatever it is. We need to redeem that time to get them to have that opportunity. I'm not sure what it is. But, I would be very saddened that, our kids couldn't do it because they had a messed up grade. But I think we need our teachers to, tell us what they need, but they need to be committed as well.
Okay. I'd like to see administration go into the class and listen to the student, what they have to say. Yeah. Away from teacher being in the classroom. Yeah. So I'd like to see their feedback and build on that. How do they, what method will work for them? What their concerns are?
I think bringing the students more into the equation and letting them have communication with the teacher about it without fear that their grade is going to go down or without fear of whatever is screwing up their future, teacher recs, all that stuff. I think that's a really good idea. And we're not just complaining because we're getting bad grades. I got A's in all my math classes. I did struggle that much, but I still think that there is a real problem and that we need to address it, and not just with parents, but with students who also really see the problem and really want to fix it.
Almost breaking up when I hear Tiffany said that. It made me really want to cry, because I feel like some teacher basically is just destroy a kid. Not about grade, not about they will be a doctor, they will be an engineer, whatsoever. It's just that my daughter went through elementary school, middle school really, really well, getting 600 in the SAT, the Cat 6 and all that. But this year, graduating high school, she said, "Mom, I hate math. I'm not a math person." It's just this feeling. She got crippled. It's really sad and emotional when a student speak up for themselves.
It's very emotional for all of us.
I was never sure what I wanted to do with my future. The one thing I am sure of is that I don't want to go into math. But it's just really sad to finally realize that after all the time I put into math. So.
I do think that this is a problem that didn't happen overnight, but kind of evolved over time and does need to be addressed. But I think the concern of the majority of us here are how to reclaim that lost time for the students that are here, and what do we do to address that in a really immediate, like this semester, what changes can be made this semester. And one of my suggestions would be, I know it's commonplace, this use of whiteboards, but in this current situation where we have kids that don't understand the material, that to spend time in class where they're expected to write down their equations and their calculations and then wipe them clean and go home with no record of what was done in class, to me is a tremendous handicap. Almost across the board, they require 3 years of math.
Yeah.
So most of these kids are so burned on math that they don't want to go near it. But I think if it becomes a requirement that they need a 3rd year, and they clean house and start over with motivated teachers. So my suggestion would also be that there needs to be much more rigorous standards and hiring procedures to find the teachers who are the good teachers, who can potentially teach a 1.5 or 2 years worth of material in 1 year. Then maybe those kids who've lost multiple years have a chance of catching up.
A week, 2 afternoon a week, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But if you're given a math homework on Friday that's due Monday, those 2 classes are useless.
Yeah.
It needs to be every afternoon. 2 days a week is just not enough. And that's the only reason why we have to pay for Mathnasium, and they're making a fortune in South Pasadena because we only offer 2 days a week, and that just started. We need 5 days a week.
Use that money because I don't know if the tutor is going to help.
If they get frustrated with students who ask too many questions and say, go back to the book, there's something wrong.
Right.
A little coaching or a little adjustment in how they return homework will not fix. There's something about the underlying attitude and commitment, and it goes back to the very first thing that was said tonight. Some of them don't even fully understand, are not capable of teaching. The inescapable conclusion of all this is marginal tinkering, fine, but some people need to be teaching something else.
The dropping or the not taking up of these programs is part of the disconnect because all the kids see is what's in the classroom. And if it's a negative experience, maybe other experiences could, help to enrich. They still need what they need in the classroom, but so they see there are other things. It's not just the classroom.
The board, the Aries program, that thing doesn't work. I've gone on that thing several times. Either it's down or they're inputting stuff. So how are you supposed to keep track of your kid, whether you're supposed to be able to see whether he did the homework or not, or what his grade was on a test. But if you go there and it's blank, and that's not just one, that's like 3 or 4 teachers. Actually, I could just almost say all of them, But here it's like there's a wall. I got to talk to the counselor, then I got to find the counselor, and then I have to make an appointment with the counselor, and then the counselor has to talk to the teacher to see if it's okay to talk to him, and that never happens.
We just cannot communicate with our teachers, so I think everybody should be having an active web page and communication you can do.
I'm thinking, we just got 750 on the math. I said, what's wrong? He said, well, I'm just not smart in math. And I'm thinking, it's ridiculous. So, there's 100 of us over here, but probably there are 900 parents whose kids are taking math who are just scratching their heads trying to figure out what's going on. They might be like me, not really aware of the issues. I do also want to thank the administration for putting this together.
Yes.
I think we as a group need to organize ourselves, aggregate our email addresses, and get together to work to help the school, the teachers, the administration, develop the math program here.
So there were 2 teachers, and that seemed to work really well. This year my son has a new teacher who should not have been hired here, is not experienced, is not qualified, and so it runs the gamut between old and new. So,
And we had one.
Teachers should be trained, if they aren't already, in how to visually explain concepts in math. If the teachers who can be trained to do it, great. If they can't, there needs to be a way to, as someone else said, say goodbye to these teachers.
She told the teacher recently that she could not see the board, and then the teacher say, okay, you come and copy it and go back to your seat.
I just want to say how much I appreciate your candor in sharing. What you guys brought up, all the issues that you surfaced, were the very ones I hoped we would hear had we done small group.
The urgency is understood, but what I don't want to do is give an off-the-cuff action plan that isn't well thought through. Heard things that definitely we're working on with the general group, but definitely there are things that we're doing specifically with individuals who have even greater needs and have specific plans. So I thank you so much for giving us really good, concrete, specific information that we can take back and continue to do our work.